Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today I'm going to be tying for you a unique variant on an elk hair caddis, which is going to be the Klipspringer caddis, or Klipspringer, or however you want to pronounce it. This is a small little antelope out in the middle of, let's see. There's a small antelope found in eastern and southern Africa, the sole member of its genus and subfamily tribe. This is a little bitty old, cute little old antelope, and it gives a really unique color to a wing that is just a little bit different. I will say that, you know, this material is an interesting one. You know, it comes in a big old patch and just looks beautiful, but if you take a closer look, I mean, I'd say more than half those tips are just busted, which is not a bad thing, because you have to understand, I mean, this was a wild animal. You know, this is not something like a nature spirit deer that's been, you know, however they do their deer. I don't know if they grow them in a pen or something like that to keep their hair from having issues. Now this little dude was climbing over rocks and was harvested and probably drug out and all that good fun stuff. So, you know, when you get something like this, a you know, patch of fur like this, and, you know, it's all busted, half of it's all busted, you just have to understand that it has nothing to do with the seller. It has nothing to do with the seller. You know, it just has everything to do with the nature of, you know, what you're tying with. So, you know, just take your time with material like that. You know, I took my time and, you know, picked all the broken ends out of all my little flies that I'm tying here so that I can get a nice wing. It's not for everybody, but, you know, I have a little thing with flies sometimes. You know, if I see something rare, like a rare material or whatnot, I pretty much have to have it. And and one of the reasons why is when I'm fishing with my father or my brother, and I'm catching fish on something, and I just look for that perfect opportunity for when I'm catching fish and they're not, kind of deal. And they ask me what I'm using, and I get to say a Klipspringer caddis, and they just get to shake their head because they know they ain't got one, and they're not going to be willing to buy the fur and take 10-15 minutes to pick all the busted ends out of it just so they can have one of these things. They're going to want me to do it, but since it takes me all that time to pick all the ends out, I don't think I'm going to time any of them. But don't tell them that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start this with a TMC 100. This is in a size 14. I tied 14 and 16. Mr. Standard, you know, this is basically exactly how you would tie an elk hair caddis. I'm going to tie in some extra small wire in on the far side. And I'm going to use some super fine and caddis green for the body. And I'm going to dub on what I know is going to be less than what I need, because with this dubbing, it's always easier to put on than it is to take off. If you've ever tried to take off superfine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to kind of give this thing a little bit of a taper, not much of one. I'm going to come probably 2 eye lengths back, maybe an eye length and a half. And I'm going to go ahead and dress the rest of the hook. Front to back. And then I'm going to pick up a different hackle than what I normally tie with, or at least a different vendor. It's a Cree. You know, I wanted to zhuzh it up. If I'm going to use this Klipspringer, I'm going to zhuzh it up a little bit and use this Cree. And it's a company called Riseform. And I got it from Magpie Materials. And I mean, it really is a pretty cake. I mean, you can't really see it where it's at, but I mean, you know, it has all kinds of pretty stuff. And the reason why I deviated away from my normal whiting is because it's difficult to find, you know, a nice size 14, or let's say like a size 12. But to be honest with you, that Riseform, that's basically all that's on that thing is like size 12s and 14s, and you can hardly find a 16 on that thing. Hell, I think there's probably a size 10, you know, hackle on that dude. So I'm gonna tie it in up here at the tip with a little bit of space on the bare stem, just to go ahead and get my wrap started in the direction that I want it. You want that outside edge facing forward. I'm just gonna give myself some nice open spirals. And I've been pretty pleased with the count, you know, with the hackle count on this thing. And I'm gonna take that wire from the far end, if I can get a hold of it, go underneath my hook and catch that bare stem right there on the shank. And then I'm just gonna wrap this wire forward, which will cross over the stem of that hackle. I'm gonna wrap it like that hackle's not even there. Bring my thread back. Come over the wire. Get that tied down. And helicopter my wire off. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my scissors. I'm going to barely open them. And I'm just going to nick that end of that hackle. And it's going to come right out. Then I can use that piece of feather for the next fly. I mean, you can tell, I mean, this is I'll show you at the end. So I prepared that hair because I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes, 15 minutes to prepare this stuff while you guys are watching here. And I see a couple of more broken tips in there. I didn't get them all out, but I'll make sure to do so before I tie this wing in. It's a little much too, so one of the ways you can go in there and get that broken tip out is you just kind of just touch it with your finger. Normally you can just come in here and just grab it. It'll come on out. May get some extras. That's just a little bit much for the wing that I'm after. So I'm going to kind of bring it down just a little bit. I'm splitting my hair. I'm going to look. Yeah, that's about as much as I want. And I'll take that out and I'll use it on my next fly. Put that back in my stacker. Then from here I'm going to measure my wing a little bit further than the back end of that hook bend. I like the color of that hair, so I'm going to grab it. Out it comes. Going to transfer that measurement just like a normal elk hair caddis. 2 wraps, then tighten down where you don't see that hair flare anymore. Once that hair is done, don't keep going or you'll break your thread. And then I'm going to just slightly bring up sections of that hair so that I'm tying it down multiple times as I kind of make my way forward. Closer to the hook eye, and I'm just kind of making sure all those hairs get tied down properly. I'm going to raise all that up and whip finish underneath it. That's kind of interesting because the tips on this thing are actually pretty sturdy. But the butt ends of this stuff is really soft. Really, 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 really soft. Then I'm going to come in right above the eye. Get the eye, get the camera there. And just give it a straight cut right across. Then I kind of lift up. Just up that tree. And boom. There you go. Klipspringer Caddis. I do have one little broken end right there that I can come in on this far side. You know what? I'm gonna get my fine point scissors for that. If you don't have yourself a pair of these fine point Renamids, I would say get you a pair, because they are something else. And there you go. And I got the Klipspringer from my buddy Ty's Flies, the Fly Smith, and the Hackle from Magpie Materials. And I'm happy with both of it. Makes a great looking fly, a little bit different than your normal elk hair. It's a little bit different of a variation. Let me know what you guys think. Y'all have a great day.